Okay, this is video 13, I do believe. Okay, so we set it up so the exit screen, and I'm doing the GUI stuff first, so it's all set up, ready to go. So once we get into the game, the GUI should be working. So first, we need the buttons for the exit screen. So in the sprites, GUI sprites, create sprite. Let's load it up. We'll start with the yes button, and I'm going to make it centered, but at the Y it's going to be 0, so it'll be at the top and centered, horizontally centered. Okay. We also need, well, first let's name it sprite SPR underscore. Let's just call it yes, no buttons. And we'll edit the sprite, file, add from file. There's our no button. So we got them both in there, preview it, but we're not going to be having it flow like that. We're just going to call to it. So, okay, so there's our buttons ready to go. We need to get into the object controller, game control. Let's do the step first. Okay, we already have this here, and I can already tell something's wrong here. Exit on. Okay, so global exit on. So when you push the button, the exit on is going to be on. So this can't be right. Let's go if let's go ahead and make some variables actually. And once again, we're going to go into the script variables, and I know once again I don't want to hear no bitching about this at this point. I'm using too many globals. Global dot exit buttons on equals false. Okay, we're also going to need global dot what do we call that? What do I want to call that? Let's call it exit yes button color equals C white. Copy that, paste it. Exit no button color equals C white. Okay, so we have our variables ready to go. So in here we'll say if global dot exit button on. Let's make this false. If it's false, then we will show exit menu, and basically that's the background. We're going to pop up the background. Else we will check the exit buttons, because we want to wait till it pops up and then we show the buttons, then we can push the buttons. So I think that would work. Check exit but no, that's not right either. We got to keep that. What we want is else and here, because that one will check the exit button itself. This one will check the exit buttons, which we haven't created yet. So let's create those. Let's create that script. Create script. check exit buttons. And there we are. So when the exit is on, the variable exit on is true, then it's going to bring this up. Once it's up, it'll show exit menu. When all these criteria are met, exit buttons on equals true. Actually, do I have more than one of those? Hold on. Exit buttons on. Okay, yeah, I already had it in there. Okay, let's take one of them out. Okay, so once it's true, once exit buttons on is true, then it'll show the exit buttons. Check exit buttons. But before that happens, we got to draw it. So here's our exit menu. And once again, here it's saying if global exit buttons on, then it's going to want to draw these things. Also, let's see. Exit menus on. Show exit menu. I know there's a... Okay. Let's go ahead and copy this because we're going to utilize this. It's the frame text. That's at the top of the frame, but we're going to want to also use it in the little menu we're going to create here. So I'll go draw text color room width divided by 2 room height divided by 2, so it's dead center, and then the height is going to be minus 80, so it's above the buttons. And here, this is the text we want, global frame text, and then we'll go, whoops, see black. And I'm using this color because it's a white background. And 1. That should do it. Okay, now we're going to draw the buttons. Draw sprite, extended, sprite, yes, no, yeah, yes, no. There it is. Did I spell it wrong? No, okay. And this one's going to be sprite 0. Room width divided by 2 minus 100. Room height divided by 2. This will be dead center. 110 rotation, and global dot exit yes button color, and alpha will be 1. Okay, let's just copy that, paste it, and we'll just make a couple changes here. This is going to be the no variable, the color, and this on the where it's placed in the X is going to be plus 100. And I think that should do it. And let me check something real quick. I put global buttons on equals false. Let's try that. If global exit button on. If global buttons on, step buttons. Let's describe it too. Exit menu. And there they are. I don't know the other buttons. Well, that one should work. Okay. Are you sure you would like to exit? Okay. Now we need to add it in, or add the button controls. So game control. So here's where the exit menu is. So we need to go into the script, check exit buttons, which we made. And if we didn't make it before, I thought I made it at the beginning, but okay. So here's where we're going to control that stuff. Okay, and here I'm going to create the same variables I was for the other buttons. So y(x) equals room width divided by 2 minus 132. Now the y(x) means yes, the yes x. The no x equals room width minus 68. Okay, the reason why those numbers are weird is because the size, which I can even put that in there, size equals 64. Okay, so we put the y, or the yes button, in the room width divided by 2 minus 100. Okay, but it's centered. So when it's centered, you divide that in half, and you have to add that to there. Here we take it away on the no, because that one was plus 100. So it's plus 100, and then so you gotta minus, because we're taking away from the room. Whoops, I got that wrong. Anyways, room width divided by 2. So if you're dead center in there, and you have to divide, because the center is the half of what the sprite is, which would be 32. So if it's at room width divided by 2 plus 100 minus 32 is 68. If it's minus 100, you add the 32, so minus 132. If that's a little confusing, but I know you guys will get it. It's probably trial and error, actually. Okay, and that's dead center. mx equals mouse x. And I'm going to even if this goes farther than I want it to, I want to finish this because I want to move on to the game. Okay, so that's mouse y. Okay, those are all ready to go. Okay, so if global exit on, you shouldn't need to know that. Okay, so let's start with the mouse over. And once we get this code done, the actual code that makes it do stuff is actually pretty simple. Mouse over. If mouse check button, and we're just going to check the button here for the mouse over. Mouse button left. If mx, mouse x, is larger than yes x, and mouse x is smaller than y x plus size of the sprite, and mouse y is larger than y, and mouse y is smaller than y plus size size. And remember, when you're doing the size like that, I'm only using one variable because the size is 64 by 64. So it makes it easy. Okay, so now we'll say global dot exit yes button color equals C dark gray. Else, oops, we'll just copy this, put it here, and then yes will become white, which is, it's just regular color. Okay, so that's the mouse button for I think we put it in here. Okay, yes button. I hope you know that. Okay, let's copy this whole thing, paste it under here. This will be the no button. Okay, here we'll just change the y-axis to the nx, and okay, oh, y is fine. Y is fine. Okay, and we'll just change these to no variable, and that should at least have the hover at this point. Like I said, I'm going to continue until we finish this screen so we can move on. Okay. Okay, if we get into the game control, the draw end, exit menu, I realized, okay, there's sprite 0, that's the yes button. Here's sprite 1 from that sprite, or the image from that sprite. But I think there's might be something wrong here. Let's see. Yeah, something's off with my code here. The yes is working, but the no seems to be in the wrong place. Okay, let me figure that out. Okay, I see what's wrong. I did minus 68 instead of plus 68 on the check exit buttons. Check exit buttons, because it's on the other side of the room, width divided by 2. That's why we had to remove the 32 from the 100. I should have seen that when I was showing that. Okay, this one should work. Yes, no. And of course it doesn't do anything at this point. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me when so it doesn't do anything yet. Let's do that at this point. This will be fast and easy. Okay, so all we need to do, and we can use the same code on the X's and Y's. So this one will be, let's just copy this whole thing. This is the check exit buttons, and this one will be, instead of mouse check button, it will be the release. Released. So that means you pushed it. Mouse, call it clicked. Okay, so this, the X and Y's are all going to be the same. The yes and the no's. Okay. Okay, so if you say yes, it's going to say game end, and it'll stop the game. This one, we want to remove the menu. So I'm going to write a script for that. Script remove exit display. Okay, we haven't written it yet, but I'm going to write it. Let's copy that. So that should be all done right there. In the scripts, right click, create script. Let's call it script remove exit display. And here all I'm doing is resetting the stuff that we had already set up in the variables. So we'll need the we don't need the size. We need these three. Copy the display X scale, Y scale, and alpha. Oops. Come on. Just pop it in there. The buttons, the exit buttons on needs to be out of here. We'll go ahead and add the yes and no buttons. What's the other button? Those definitely have to be there. Let's pop this in here. And we could add a sound in there too. I'll probably end up doing that. Exit on needs to be false. And I think that'll do it. I think that's all you really need. But like I said, once again, you can add a little click or whatever, like you've reset it. Let's give it a try. Here's no. Okay, it goes back to the screen. Uh-oh. There's a problem. Okay, I see what needs to be changed here. Remove exit display. Let's add the exit button color. Where's it at? I don't see it. Exit button color. Set that back to white. Give it a try. No. And it works again. No. Works again. And yes. And it exits. Alright. That's cool. Alright. So, I'm going to call that one good. That one was kind of a long one. Don't forget to subscribe. Hope you guys are all doing okay. And if you guys have any questions, just put them in the comment section. Alright, guys. Have a good night. Okay, bye.